Welcome to the Springtown Chamber Chatter. Our goal is to bring you information from local small business owners and leaders to help you grow your business and stay up to date on current events. I'm your host, Dr. Robert Moss, along with Springtown Chamber Executive Director, Amy Walker. Today on the show, we have Carolyn Rocha. Carolyn is a financial advisor with Edward Jones here in Springtown. Carolyn grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. She went on to get her bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Purdue University and later went on to receive an MBA with concentration in finance from SMU. She lives in Springtown with her husband Eric and three small children, Emily, Elizabeth, and Lillian. She serves on the Springtown Educational Foundation Board and is a current ambassador for the Springtown Chamber of Commerce. For over 9 years, Carolyn has worked through Edward Jones to help families and business owners understand what's most important in their financial success and helps them build personalized investment strategies. Welcome to the show, Carolyn.
All right, so welcome to Chamber Chatter, our weekly podcast show with Amy Walker, our Executive Director of the Springtown Chamber of Commerce. I'm Dr. Robert Moss, and welcome today our special guest, Carolyn Rocha, who is a certified financial planner with Edward Jones, who happens to be my next door neighbor.
Hello, Carolyn.
Back. Hi, sorry. Can we time out for 1 sec?
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of feedback. I didn't know if it's in my cell phone. Like, is it going to be bad audio? Because it's like repeating everything.
Do you have a set of earbuds?
No.
Because sometimes if I'm talking, are you picking it up? Because sometimes if it's coming out of your speaker, then it starts to replay on your mic.
It was only right there on the recording, but
Yeah, I'm not hearing it right now.
Okay, sorry to make you start.
It's all right.
No, I don't. All right.
Okay, we'll start over here.
All right.
Look alive, Amy. All right. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the Chamber Chatter podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Robert Moss, with our Executive Director, Amy Walker from the Springtown Chamber of Commerce. And today on the Zoom call here, we have Carolyn Rocha, who is a certified financial planner with Edward Jones here in Springtown. And we're going to ask her some market questions. And she also happens to be my next door neighbor. So hello, Carolyn. We're practicing social distancing here as we're all in our separate offices. And so thanks for coming on. Just have a few questions for you. Maybe you can shed some light on what you're seeing in terms of the financial world. The top three things maybe you're seeing in the market right now, or maybe some questions that you're fielding from some of your clients and how to best proceed.
Yeah, hi, thanks for having me. So basically we can start with kind of what's going on in the stock market right now. Today is May 11th, so if you're watching this at a later date, it might be a little delayed, a little off. But basically, if we look at what's going on in stocks finished higher last week. We did hit a bottom with losing 35% in the S&P 500 back in March. Now it has come back up, and we're only down about 14% from the all-time high. If we look at what's going on in the economy, the April employment report did show that we lost about 20 million jobs in April. But the good news is that about 80% of them were reported as only temporary job layoffs. So kind of the reason why the S&P is back up is that it's really just on the hopes that the economy has maybe already bottomed out, and that as the restrictions ease and the economy reopens, we'll continue to do well, and so stocks are back up.
So you oh, sorry. So you mentioned that we're about 14% down from an all-time high. So that to me sounds a little better than what I feel like I hear every day. But so that's positive.
That is positive, because I know it was really scary about a month ago when we were down about 35%. But everything I've been telling my clients is that basically when that happened, stocks were pricing in a worst case scenario of all companies losing about 80% of their future earnings at that time, which just, as I was telling them, isn't going to happen. And so now that it hasn't been as bad as we were thinking back in March, the S&P 500 looks forward. And so it's looking at what's going on in the rest of 2020 and 2021. And so it's saying, okay, it wasn't that bad. Maybe we can kind of come back up to where we think it should be priced.
Good. Thank you.
That's awesome. And so kind of touching on the jobs, obviously, is, owning a small business and being the chamber involved with a lot of the small businesses. That's a good report. Not that there's 20 million, but that they're saying that a lot of these are temporary. So are they kind of basing that off of all this stimulus money that's getting put into the economy?
Yes, they think that's really helping. That's one of the 4 things that's really helping the stocks come back up. The Paycheck Protection Plan, and also all the money just going out to everybody. Okay.
Yeah, great. I think that's awesome that, hopefully there won't be as many people on unemployment, kind of moving forward, and as things start to loosen up, that, people will get out and they'll start to shop local, definitely, and inject some of that money back into the economy. Great.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. How about, so obviously 35% down. Now it's back up and only 14% off the high. I can imagine that you fielded a lot of panicking calls from clients and customers during that time frame. And if people are still kind of, a little bit edgy about it, what would be some calming advice that maybe you could give people and not, just try to bail out, try to hold on, or, what would you advise your clients to do?
So what I've been telling everybody is, let's really just focus on what we can control. We can't control the stock market. We can't control our emotions. We feel them. And I know it hurts. But honestly, the best thing we can do is control how we react. So what we need to do is just make sure we have the right mixtures of stocks and bonds, depending on your risk tolerance and your goal for the money. Let's also focus on why do we have this money? Is it for retirement? Is it for college funding? Is it for passing to our kids or a charity when we pass away? Kind of, why do we have this money? And basically just focus on what's the point. With a lot of my clients, I've actually gone back and revisited their goals and taken a look at their current portfolio value, and just most of them are actually still on track to hit their goal, if it's retirement or whatever.
Right. And so I think you kind of hit it on the head. There's, looking at why are you doing this? Why are you saving that money? And I think that makes a big difference. And you and I have talked. So obviously, if you were closer to retirement, and you had, say, a lot of your money in bonds and things like that, did the bond market take as big of a hit as, say, the general stocks, or was it kind of 35% across the board?
So the stocks are what actually had the biggest dip. Bonds typically go opposite of stocks, and that's why we like to have a good mixture, because when stocks are not doing well, bonds do, and vice versa. So you really don't want to have everything just in stocks. You want to have it diversified, and then you can actually have a smoother ride towards your goal, and you can kind of get there in the safest way possible, without having all these huge swings in your account.
Right. Okay. Yeah, exactly. And when we see these things, I've heard, you're going to see something happen every 8 to 10 years, whether it's, H1N1 almost, 10 years ago, or you have the recession and the Enron scandal and all these sorts of things. So it seems like every 8 to 10 years, there's some type of big market fluctuation. And I guess an obvious correction. So can you kind of talk about that? What are some of the general trends that normally just kind of play out in the stock market?
Yes. So what I tell all my clients is, this is normal. What causes a dip like this is always different. It's always different this time what causes it. But if you look back in the history of the stock market, the way that we recover is always the same. We always come back to where we were and go higher. But just for normal volatility, we normally see 3 5% corrections every single year where we drop 5%, come back up. We normally see 1 10% correction a year. And on average, we normally see one of these where it's 20% or more correction about 1 out of every 4 years. So I kind of joke and say, okay, 1 out of every 4 years, you're really not going to like your account, but the other 3 years always make up for it.
Right. So it's not just a straight line to the top. It's this fluctuation all the way through. Yeah.
Right.
And did you have anybody when it really started to tank that people were like calling and wanting to really bail out, and you had to really kind of talk them off the ledge, or did you kind of start to preemptively talk to some of the people leading into this as it started to look like it was going to get worse?
Well, yeah, and that's a great question. We always talk about volatility and just how much ups and downs we're going to see in the account. We tend to pick an account based off, or a portfolio based off of that person's risk tolerance. I did have a couple that were concerned. I also had a lot that were like, hey, this is a buying opportunity. Stocks are down. Can I buy some really good stocks right now? And then I had just a couple, they just wanted to know everything was okay. But what's nice is they could see what's happening this time. It wasn't a mystery.
Well, and that was, you talked about people that were asking about buying, and I've thought about that with, is this a good time? And I mean, I jokingly say, we should all be investing in hand sanitizer and, the toilet paper and all that kind of stuff. But is it a good time?
Yes, it's actually a really great time. It's a really great buying opportunity. Whenever you do see stocks are way down and everybody's panicking and it feels terrible, that's when you want to buy, because that's when they always kind of joke and say it's like a blue light special. That's the best time to get out there and get it. Sorry, my phone's trying to die.
That's all right. I got you there. Yeah, the blue light special. Of course, you probably can't buy Kmart stock anymore, right? They're no longer around.
No, I
don't. Okay, that's awesome. So anything else that you'd like your clients to know, or are you accepting new clients? Kind of how does that work?
Yeah. So kind of wrap up is just what we really need to do right now is just make sure that we're in a really good mixture of stocks and bonds based off of your risk tolerance and your goal for the account. We also just want to make sure we're properly diversified. We're not all in one stock or all in one bond, that we're just across a bunch of different asset classes and sectors. And also that we just need to keep rebalancing back to that 65-35% stocks and bonds, or 50-50%, whatever is best for that person's account. But yes, we are accepting new clients. We're right here in Springtown, been here almost 10 years. And I just really love to get to know people personally, find out what's important to them, and then we partner together and figure out the best way for them to reach their goal.
Yeah, fantastic. So, within like your educational background, having an MBA and then also a certified financial planner, do you think that helps you with, like you said, that planning portion, but then also being able to do those investments for those people? So it's kind of like you keep everything in-house and you already see where they're going.
Yes. I think it really helps. Also, I just really like problem solving. I did mechanical engineering as an undergrad. I just really think doing all the problem solving of what's the best way to get somebody to their goal. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah, because mechanical engineering is such a natural progression into finance.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense.
Hey, I have a quick question regarding what you just said about, I guess, planning for the future. The experts are saying on the news all the time, I'm hearing that this is going to resurge again in the fall. So I hope and pray that we're all a little more prepared at that time. So can you give any advice or anything on preparing for another hopefully we don't have another pandemic, but in the next 4 to 6 months, possibly.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to plug y'all in. No, I would say kind of the best thing we can do, like I said, is just really look at a personal situation. If we're planning on needing any money in the next, I always say if it's under 3 years, do not invest it. If you need it for living expenses, long care expenses, we don't invest that money. But if the money is going to be 3 years or longer, it is great to have stocks because they're definitely going to outpace inflation. Otherwise, I know our newest CDs are really, really crummy right now, just because the Fed lowered rates. So if anybody has any lazy money lying around, just not making them anything, it's a great time to get that in and get it invested.
Perfect.
That's great. Anything else, Amy, that you can think of?
Well, great information, Carolyn.
Yeah. Carolyn, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy day to help educate us about certain things we can look forward to or look back at in the market to, try to survive and keep our cool, and also know that just like everything else, the stock market is on sale. So if you're looking to, make a deal or something, right, contact Carolyn and she can set you up and find some great stocks that are on blue light special right now.
Exactly.
All right. Fantastic. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. This has been another episode of the Chamber Chatter podcast, and Dr. Robert Moss signing off for Amy Walker and Carolyn Rocha. Thank you.
Well, that concludes another episode of Springtown Chamber Chatter. I hope you found the information useful. If you have any questions, please contact the Chamber at 817-220-7828 by email info@springtownchamber.org or visit us on the web at www.springtownchamber.org. Thank you.